Tell you one thing, you guys are so lucky that I turned the background music down in post-edit, because Jesus Christ, this is like porn music in the 80s. Sensual porn music, you know, that kind of soft porn you see in hotels, but never see quite as much as anything. You know that kind? Just me? Okay. The younger girl scrambled to her feet and dashed out of the room at full speed, her tail comically hanging between her legs as she did. Like her tail's gonna hang anywhere else. If it came out of her mouth, I think I think that's more Japanese tentacle sort of area, isn't it? I turned to Michiko with a... No, Michiko's fine, isn't it? It's only when suffixes we say Dave. Michiko, with a faint blush on my face, averting my eyes so she could pull the sheet back up around herself. I see you're finally awake, Dave. With you two making such fuss about... I forgot what that is. Dave and Soup, how could I possibly get any sleep? I'm glad to see that you are well, Dave. I'm sorry, what? How could I possibly get any sleep? I'm glad to see that you're well. Those things don't whatever. Forgive me for taking such measures, but I feared that I wasn't getting warm fast enough, and I did what I thought was necessary. If you were really awake, you would have heard your sister telling you telling me the exact same thing. At least it was more enjoyable sleep than you would have had in the cell. I doubt that... Dave, was it? I doubt she would have given you the same service. Let's just say that the hospitality was much, appreciated. I'm glad to hear that. If you would like to change, there's a screen just over there. I promise I won't look, of course. I don't trust you. I guess one of us has to do it. I watched Michiko close her eyes, hiding her face in her hands as if to reassure me that she wouldn't peek. Taking my chances, I climbed out from under the blanket and made my way towards the wooden screen. What's the betting that one of them does? Once I reached it, I quickly began changing. If you would be so kind as to do me a favour, Dave, my robe should be upon the dresser behind you. Could you pass them to me, please? It would speed matters up greatly. Yeah, sure. Give me a second. Let me put my own fucking clothes on first. After looking around for a moment, I found the robes neatly folded up in the dresser. My heart skipping a beat as I took hold of them before turning towards the screen to hand them over. Say, Dave, how come you two walk around stealing people's underwear? I mean, you don't look like bad people to me. Well, it is complicated. Mayako was researching a spell she had wanted to perform, one that would allow us easier access to certain things we need, and one of the ingredients was a maiden's silk. Why did you keep giving the... What? What sort of spell requires that? That makes no sense. You could just go to a maid and steal her apron thingy-mabobby. You know, the white thing on the front. That's silk, I think. The only silk I could think of, well, you already know the answer. By maiden silk, I guess I understand why you think that, but isn't maiden silk another term for a wedding sash? It is in my world, at least. As I said this, the girl appeared from the other side of the screen. I never realised. What's that, Dave? A maiden silk, it is a wedding sash. All our work was for naught. I don't even know what that is. Shows you how much I know about weddings and how much I care about them. Oh, well, at least a wedding sash will be easier to get. I'll just have to marry Dave. Yeah, that's the perfectly reasonable sort of conclusion that most people would come to. Oh, well, it's fine. I'll get married. Just fucking buy one. Like, it's not difficult. What? A few minutes later, is she going to be on the floor? Like, punched and shit? No, apparently not. They just didn't want to write the rest of it. After that little incident, we relocated to the kitchen. The smell of food filled the air. Despite the younger girl's easygoing attitude, always humming some cheerful melody, I found my cheeks still burning from embarrassment. To think that a girl would say such a thing. I quickly shook my head to clear the thoughts from my mind and turned towards the elder sister. The soup is delicious. Is Dave usually the one doing the cooking around here? Yeah, I'm glad that you like it, Takahiro. I don't usually cook, so I made a few lucky guesses. Oh, God. I dread to think what the bad guesses would have been. Would people from other... Oh, God, no, that could be misinterpreted. Yes, it's best to leave that one, really. It is rather delicious, Dave. Perhaps you should do more cooking from now on. It would allow me more time to lounge around. Yeah, that's fair. What? Well, the first step is to getting your wedding sash is to become a good housewife, and that includes cooking. I added this with a bit of amusement following Michiko's comment. I took another sip of the soup. For a few lucky guesses, this dish had turned out pretty well. That's true. Is there going to be some ingredient in this which is horrible, but we like anyway? Sort of like a French frog's legs thing? I'll learn how to clean and I'll cook for you, and I don't know what else, but it'll be fun learning. Considering this is an incident beforehand, they all seem to be taking it in their stride now. We're not even joking about it at this point. She's taking that seriously. Maiko, you should stop that. You know very well it would be pointless for you to marry him. Only the villagers know how to craft a wedding sash, and we both know this will not happen. That's not necessarily true, Dave. It only becomes ever more evident that you are not from this world, Dave. The villagers do not tolerate our existence. They despise us. We could never ask such a favour of them. All we have to do is find some way to make the villagers accept you, but I guess I'll need to learn more about the village itself before we can do that. Or you could just go and ask. They don't know who you are. There are 3 people who've seen you. There's an elder and 2 guards. That's it. Simple as that. Whatever. Tell you what. The dev of Cinders, Tom Groucho, Weeew, alright, those people, they said that this game sold 5 times more than Cinders. It makes you cry a little bit, doesn't it? It just goes to show how much boobs sell a game. Because that is all the trailer is. And Cinders is brilliant as well. It was such amazing art and shit moved, and it had a good story. And then there was this, and this sold 5 times more. Oh well. The pale-haired woman shook her head slowly, her ears flattened against her head as she did. It's not that simple. They would never trust us. Human and fox spirits have never been able to get along. I'm honestly surprised that you've been able to tolerate us this long. I haven't. I know where you got that idea that I'm tolerating you, but I'm not. I said, I could just go up and ask. I'm a human. I could just lie. And it'd be so much easier. Whatever. I would be happy to be proven wrong, and you are free to stay here as long as you wish, until, of course, you too grow wary of our ways and decide to leave. Dave, please don't say things like that. Takahiro would not do that, would you, Takahiro? Of course not. I wouldn't abandon someone just because they're a different species. That's not the way... Fuck that, Dave does things. However, I do remember the village elder telling me that it wasn't just the fox spirits. It sounded like the humans and spirits everywhere had been on bad terms for a long time. Do you know why, Dave? I do not recall much information is withheld, even for someone such as myself. Can we go and see the person who would know then? That'd be much better. Most spirits keep them to themselves these days. There are a few exceptions, Siri being one of them. Powerful spirits come and go as they please, but they tend to remain in their world. Their world, it's a shrine. It's really small as whatever. Fox spirits, however, have no place to go. We are stuck in the human world, for better or for worse. Huh? I didn't realize it was like that. I guess I'm finally learning stuff. Sighs. Well, this Suri character lives in the shrine, right? We should try asking her for some ideas. No. We do not need to go to see her. Absolutely not. No, I don't want to see her. I don't want to. Again, this sold 5 times more than Cinders. I was somewhat taken aback by Michiko's suddenly childish way of speaking. It reminded me of the times I'd been told to go visit the doctor when I was younger, complaining and throwing tantrums along the way. But isn't she the only one that can help us? I refuse to go. Syria is a fiend, and I dislike the idea of spending even a second in her presence. Then don't. Leave me outside. I can go in. You guys can scram like a mile away. And it's... whatever. She can't be that bad, can she? Besides, if anything happens, I'll protect you. Fine, if it really means that much to you, I will attempt to lead you to the shrine again, but you will enter the grounds alone. I don't want to go anywhere near that place. You will be on your own, Dave. Okay, thank you for doing that thing I just suggested. Can I come, Dave? Absolutely not. I forbid it. You are not to follow us under any circumstances, Maiko. She's gonna come, isn't she? Fine, I'll stay here, just like you said. I'll be here in the mansion. All alone, unprotected, all by myself. Surely there must be other people for you to chill with in the meantime. And the humans don't go down this far. They only pursued you before because you nicked their stuff. Who knows what might happen to me? I could get trapped under a bookcase and die. Look, in the nicest possible way, Maiko, if you are going to die like that, I mean, natural selection comes into it to a certain extent. It's better you just do that now so you don't die stupidly along the way. Or slip on a banana peel and die, or get bored and die of boredom. I'd be so... I'm not reading that. Fine, fine, I get it. You may come along, but you must be on your best behaviour, or little one. No running around and no talking unless spoken to. Okay, that's not gonna... She's not gonna do that. Despite Maiko's cheerfulness, I couldn't help but wonder what had happened between Machiko and this Surui for her to react so strongly. I decided that maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to spend some time with the two sisters to get to know them a bit better. Well, I do have 2 weeks until I need to get back to my own world, so there's no real need to rush. How about we do something instead? I'm sure Dave wouldn't mind the distraction. The longer we stay away from the place, the better. How about bringing Dave along to go fetch some desserts for us? Desserts? Again, I'm not going to ask. There are oranges, apples, and a small vineyard behind the mansion. I could whip some cream to go with it if you'd like. Cream. Dessert. Orange and cream. No. Christ. Sure, that sounds easy enough. Let us get some delicious fruit, Dave. Alright. As Maiko leads me towards the garden of the impressive mansion, she seemed a little quiet, as though she had something on her mind. Don't tell me they just haven't been bothered to draw this in either. Like... Dark screen is such a bad thing for visual novels. I've said this a million times before. I can't be bothered to draw it, so I won't. I wanted to ask her about it, but something about the way her ears sagged and her tail hung low told me that that probably wasn't the best idea. I decided I would simply try to cheer her up. Oh, okay, so we do see the garden. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a fucking vineyard. Like, we're not seeing that anywhere, but at least it's a garden. So which do you prefer, Dave? Apples, grapes, or oranges? Grapes. Grapes are much better. As long as they're seedless. A lot of these places aren't. We could gather all 3, but I bet we can grab a few for ourselves first. Apples, I guess. I knew a fox spirit once, a friend of Dave, who loved apples. I can't remember her name, though. I guess my head's a bit hollow. Yeah, that's... I think hollow's a bit of an understatement. Apples are awesome, crunchy on the outside and sweet on the inside. And your head isn't hollow, silly. If that was true, I think I'd be still stuck in that jail cell. No, it's because I think her friend is slightly more intelligent. Dave did most of the thinking, though. I just sort of went along with what she said. Well, someone has to take the lead. Besides, I'm still grateful for your help all the same. How about... I playfully flicked Maiko's forehead with a grin. What are you doing? You deserve a slap. See, it doesn't sound hollow at all. I'm sure there's plenty of clever thoughts in that pretty little head of yours. That pretty little head of yours. Please, can we condescend her further? I don't think we're doing a good enough job. Now you know I'm right at least. Anyway, let's get those apples, shall we? Okay, I'll get them. You go grab that basket over there. Alright, let's get down to business. Feeling hyped, I went to grab one of the baskets stacked nearby and returned to Mayako, who had started climbing one of the trees. The girl looked accustomed to climbing, but her small hands had me a bit worried. Hanging from the branch with just her legs, she checked to see if the apples were ripe. Dave, be careful, you might slip. Ow! The girl had thrown an apple at me, and while my reflexes let me catch it with ease, the force behind it still stung my palm a little. Of course, I did exaggerate a bit for the girl. Hang on. You do judo, your hands should be like fucking rocks, mate. Like, if you're that good, then your hand should be quite tough. Not enough for an apple to hurt it. Maybe a rock, not an apple. Haha, I'll be fine, Dave. I've been climbing these trees all my life. That's a cute to fall down. Even the most experienced climbers end up running into trouble if they aren't careful. I smiled weakly at the girl's excited attitude, placing the apple I caught into the basket. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a fox spirit. I won't fall. I'm super careful. Watch, I'll grab the apples near the top. Come on, just fall already. Wait. Dave, unless you can fly, I don't think you should go for those. Fly? I can't do that, silly Dave. Who has ever thought of a flying fox spirit? As expected, the moment my echo tried to reach for one of the apples near the top of the tree, the girl ended up losing her footing and tumbled down towards the ground with a loud cry. Who saw that coming? All 300 or so of you watching. Yeah, you as well? Yeah, me too. High five for seeing the most obvious thing in the world ever happen.